Hello, what's up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and I just got back from the theaters after seeing Don't Breathe 2. Don't Breathe 2 is a 2021 film that, it's a sequel to Don't Breathe, which was more of a horror movie. This sequel seems to be in the lines of more of a thriller, action-y type thing. It's directed by Rodo Seyoges. Ooh, I don't know if I said that right. But, okay, so the plot is we see the blind man who is now with a new daughter. You almost shudder to think, how did he get this new daughter? Especially with the way he was trying to get a new daughter in the first film. But in this movie, he has this girl, he takes care of her, he's overly sheltering and protective of this girl because he doesn't want anything to happen to her. And of course, people see her while she's out. It draws them to the house, and you get a similar situation of the first film where people go into the house who are up to no good. But this time, we're following the blind man as the protagonist. What? You mean the murdering rapist kind of the first film is now the good guy because he's trying to protect this little girl and kill off these, I guess, badder people? What I thought of Don't Breathe 2 is, I didn't hate this movie. I can't pretend like, oh man, this movie was brutal and it was terrible, but I didn't love it either. I feel like ultimately it wasn't necessary to make this movie. I enjoy the first Don't Breathe for so many reasons. I don't know how much it makes sense to make the blind man the main character or the protagonist in this film. There is a moment much later in the movie where he acknowledges all of the bad things that he's done in his life. He acknowledges, he even calls himself a rapist, which he didn't do in the first movie, but here now, I guess, after other people, audiences who called him a rapist or said, bullshit, you're a rapist, he too acknowledges it. And so they try to make him more sympathetic. They try to make him more relatable. I'm not so sure if they pulled it off. I think Stephen Lang, who plays the blind man, I think he does a good job in the role in general. So he's good acting wise, and so I think you don't take anything away from him there. The actor is 69 years old, and he's still doing the majority of the action and the fighting that he has to do here. So that's very impressive. The little girl that the blind man is taking care of, she's played by Madeline Grace. I looked her up, and she doesn't have a lot of credits to her name, but she was a good actress. I found myself not necessarily... It wasn't like I didn't care if something happened to her, or if, I don't want to make it sound like I'm sitting here not caring if a little girl dies. It's not like that. It's just I didn't feel a huge connection to her. I didn't feel a huge connection to the two of them. I guess partly because I was sitting here wondering how the hell did he get this little girl, and so it was creeping me out. But also, I wasn't sure what the movie was trying to tell me or what they wanted me to feel as far as these characters versus the people that break into the house to try to kidnap her. Like, am I supposed to be rooting for the blind man? Am I supposed to be rooting for the people who broke in? Especially, there are things surrounding that story and situation that I won't get involved in. It's not in the trailer, but there's more of a reason for why they're kidnapping her. And sure, it makes sense, but it still made me go, who are the bad guys here? Like, who am I supposed to be rooting for or wanting to see fail? I don't know. And then it does become very clear. But again, I had trouble wondering if I cared enough about any of it. One of the guys who is breaking in, he's played by Brendan Sexton III. If that doesn't sound like a porn name, I don't know what does. But this actor, I couldn't help looking at him and thinking that he looks like a wrestler named Jon Moxley or Dean Ambrose, however you might know that wrestler. And I just, the whole time I was like, I don't know, guys, it looks a lot like that wrestler. And I'm almost at the point where I think it might be the wrestler. It's not, but still very uncanny. The action-y stuff, because it didn't feel like a horror movie, really. They did away with a lot of the stuff that I think made the first Don't Breathe work, as far as, your sight and your other senses don't really work as well against this one man. It wasn't really about that this time. It just had more of a different personal story that they were trying to tell. I know that it's produced and co-written by the director of the first Don't Breathe, Fede Alvarez, so he is involved here. In fact, there was some, controversy not that long ago with the main actress of the first movie, Don't Breathe, Jane Levy, who she was asked, why isn't she back in this film? In fact, I'm not saying I need a Don't Breathe 2, but if they were going to make a Don't Breathe 2, I would have fully expected her to be the main character again, since she survived and that there's a story there. And she said she wasn't asked. And then Fede Alvarez said a separate reply saying that, oh, we put her through too much torment and torture in the first film. I didn't want to ask her to come back and go through that again. And she got offended and she said, F you, dude. I'm the one who can say what I'm willing or able and capable to deal with. And so I don't know what happened there. I don't know why, the real reason why she wasn't asked to come back, or why we're not following her character again. But I do think it was a missed opportunity. I do think a story with her and her character, and maybe the blind man going back after her for revenge, I think that might have been way more interesting than what we had here. As it stands, the film is fine. It's passable, it's watchable, it's decent enough. I'll give it a Netflix and chill.
Oh, yeah.
So guys, let me know in the comments below if you too have seen Don't Breathe 2. Did you like it more than I did, or do you agree that, yeah, this direction is kind of odd? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!